Very good evening to everyone, and welcome to the fourth day of Grand Magnifier Series. And our theme is How Much is Too Much. And today we have with us Dr. Priti Ojha and Sunanda Rao. And before we take this further, I like to set the context of the how much is too much. So till now, we have done about teaching as an educator how you can help teaching the kids about the appropriate behavior online, about how the behaviors impact are impacting overall our behavior when we are on too much on social media, and how we are not managing physical world and online world in an appropriate or consistent way. To just give you an example, when we are in physical world, real world, we are very particular about our security, not talking to a stranger. But when we move to online, it seems to us that yes, we are online, sitting in the comfort of our home in front of a laptop and mobile. It's all in control, but it is not. So with relevance to this, today we will be taking on how social media is contributing to the stress and anxiety of each and everyone. Everyone is affected by this. Even me, I used to do first check my Facebook updates, then my LinkedIn updates, then I'm getting some personal messages on WhatsApp. And the moment I see I've done this, I realize that again some new notifications are back there with me to go through. And then yes, on YouTube, Netflix, there's so many things to I would say keep a track of it, because again it's a peer pressure when it comes to friends. My friends have reached this level, I have not reached that level. It's a non-stop streaming and notification circle which is there, and it is causing a pointless stress to each every one of us. And yes, it is affecting our mental health, and it is positive and negative both. So when we talk about how much of social media is too much, I would say social media is a complicated issue, because you cannot inherently say it is good or it is bad, but we all know it is very powerful. Very powerful. It can impact you positively in a very positive way. At the same time, it can negatively impact you and stress you out. It all depends on how differently we are, how different perspectives, for different perspectives, different reasons we are using, and how it makes us feel. It can be one person using, say Shweta is using social media just to put post, photographs, chats, online chatting with friends, keeping update with the celebrities. But they can be, Hema, she is rarely going on social media, but still she wants to keep updated on news, the kind of issues that are going on. But despite the differences, the way they are using social media, both agree that social media is creating a stress, and that pressure, they feel it. It's a pressure to basically stay updated. It's a pressure, it is a stressful to keep abreast with friends, keep track of, I would say FOMO. That word was introduced. It was fear of missing out, which is making us more and more stressed. So with this context, I invite Sunanda to please come and facilitate the session. Sunanda is a managing director, Career Beacon. She is a founder with Concept and a convener of National Career Counselors Network. She is a regular career expert who's writing regular columns in Amar Ujala. And she is also in 2019 received an award for her contribution towards the youth and impacting their lives, Indian Icon Award. So Sunanda, please come and please facilitate the session of today. Unmute yourself, Sunanda.
Thank you so much, Kavita, for the lovely introduction and setting up the context of the real site examples of EMA and others. Yes, indeed, this series, when we have actually thought of doing, myself and Kavita jointly work on all the projects wherever she has mentioned, whether it's Concept, Career Beacon, or NCC and National Career Counselors Network. The objective of the series that we actually do is to ensure that one social, one aspect of the social media has to be touched upon, or one aspect of the teaching pedagogy has to be touched upon, so that the things are pretty clear and in some way we are able to benefit the teaching fraternity. So that's the reason why, when we create the series, we ensure that one particular domain is touched specifically. And as she has said, this is positive as well as negative because we get the peer pressure. And for this, on the fourth day of this brand magnifier series, we have got one speaker. We picked up a speaker who is connected on social media since 3 decades, and she is connected and seen in almost all platforms in the market. She experienced how social media socially influences the community members, or it can also help to become happier and progressive, or anxiety or stress. She is none other than Dr. Priti Ojha, who is an educationist, co-learner, passionate trainer. She is presently working in the Delhi International School Sector 23 Dwarka, which is based out of New Delhi. Well, on contradictory, she is a postgraduate in computer science from the Pune University. She did a BA and as well as MPhil and then PhD in computer science with a zeal to acquire some theoretical moorings of the training and the teaching. She has received most progressive awards of most progressive principal in 2017 by the in the National Convention of Edu Leaders and most promising principals by the Global Leaders Foundation. And the reason why she is here in this social media thing is because she has recently recognized by one of the most renowned platform, that's LinkedIn, as a Spotlight 2019. She is an avid reader. She is connected with the students. She is a software coder. In fact, she, before taking the educational journey, she was a coder and she was working for the company, software company. But yes, she from last 19 years, 1 decade, 1 year less to 2 decades, she has started working as faculty in the schools as well as an administrator, and now presently she is serving as the principal. But she at the same time is a part of British, she was a part of British Council North India schools team, and she is an international coordinator, local coordinator, and a master trainer and code skills trainer. With this, may I request Ms. Priti Ojha to come and share her context on today's topic first, and then we would like to have a chit chat session, because since you are into the social media from last 3 decades, so we would actually like to know what is your journey. So before that, I would request you to please set the context.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Sunanda. Thank you, Kavita. You both have been so good by talking about this issue, because this is one of the most prevalent issues nowadays in the society, either from age group 7 to 60. Each one of them have this huge thought behind a social media perspective. Why to be on the social media? That's the first question that everybody comes across. And when we go ahead realizing, we find lots of kinds of answers. And some of the answers which I have found by talking to lots of colleagues of mine is the one which you all will agree with me. It's a medium to connect and network. Freedom to communicate, easy to connect, 24/7 updating information, gain knowledge, creativity, benefit for the business, uh, find old friends, helping each other, find an opinion about your write up, meet new people, promote, help, invite, follow. These are the kind of things that people have always answered me whenever I ask them, why did you join the social media? When I joined the social media, I know the truth within. And I know why did I establish myself on that window was to begin with, to find an identity. To finding an identity for myself, I found this platform very friendly. The most important thing is that when you get connected to something, it is something which is of your ability. It is easy for you to connect. You're more focused towards the things which make you feel empowered over a tool. And when we see that this is a gadget which is all the time there available on 24/7, floating in the air, and I can basically go and keep checking what's happening on it, is creating a different kind of resonance in the community. The second important thing which I conclude when I talk about social media is networking. It actually robust the network of an individual. It helps you to gain and know people who you would have never known otherwise. And the third, which I feel very happy about, that you can communicate on it. And the communication part started especially when we started posting our pictures on various social media. Pictorially, we were able to make people understand what we want to tell them. So there was a lot of question answer during my time when I was going through social media, that when you post a picture, what do you exactly want to say? And my answer used to be, what do you want to perceive? And this is how exactly social media works. So people think that when I'm joining social media, there will be no past which anybody would like to verify, and there is no commitment in it. So this makes them very safe within, that this is the place I can go because there's nobody going to, which is a myth, judge me, or nobody going to have a competition with me. And exactly the opposite starts happening. When I look at the statistics, more than 60% of the world population is online, and out of which 99% is accessing through mobile. What an easy gadget. During the lockdown period, 87% is the social media usage. 3.5 hours people are sitting on the social media just for the cause of creating their identity, network, and communicating. 11 new people every second join the social media. Can you imagine how powerful it is? How rightly told by Kavita. But I feel that a human mind is made with an existence of social, emotional, and professional pillar. And when you start demonstrating that anywhere on the social media, it will bring a kind of pro as well as a con. It will bring differences in the opinion of people. Now, when I ever talk about all this, I always ask, where does this anxiety come from? Where does this stress come to you? And all who are around me say that it is all because that hurts me. I posted a picture and nobody saw it. Nobody liked it. There was no comment on it. I felt, oh, was it I the foolish one to post it and nobody liked it? So basically, what happens is all is going in the mind of the user. So, what is the purpose for which you join a social media is essential for one to establish before they enter into this world. When I talk about the social media, I'm sure all of you know there are lots of kind of social media existing. Some came, some have left, and the most instant which I find is Instagram. I find podcast coming up very high. I see WhatsApp, absolutely addictive. I see Facebook, people working upon. I see Twitter accounts being used for so many purposes. LinkedIn has come up as a huge professional software where people are trying to contribute as much as possible. But there are so many other ways of connecting on the social media, like YouTube. You record and you post it. You make sure that you are there for everybody to hear you. So once you're exposing yourself, each individual is unique and they'll have their own opinion for what you're talking and what you're exposing. So you have to make sure that whatever you're doing will have people with a different opinion to what you're trying to post and what trying to let them know to see. So when I go and I try to categorize it. Anxiety usually comes and stress usually comes when the purpose of using the social media is only to highlight yourself. You want to highlight yourself when you're having a wonderful food on the dining table by clicking a picture and sending during the lockdown. People are people are very disturbed. They see that and they see, oh my god, she's able to cook, she's able to wash the vessels, she's also posting the that particular food, and they start comparing that fake moment behind the real life. When that comparison starts happening, there is an anxiety which starts evolving, and that anxiety gets you on the rat race. So fine, if she has put up a picture which is liked and applauded by so many, I'll also put up a picture which is of a custard with a cherry on it. So, there is a competition which starts coming up, which creates the whole purpose of your existence fake. Anything fake, will it not give you stress after a while? Because whatever you post, whatever you put up, has to sustain. If you are trying to showcase that this is the best thing of life, then will it be every day? But the people who are looking at it get into a stress and start using it remotely and in subconscious mind for a different purpose altogether. People show that they are with their family, their husband is all the time sitting next to them, taking care of them. Children are doing so well with their exams, gaining the positions, making sure that they're traveling every month, they're going to outside India, they're making sure that I have so much time all the time for my wife, and they give all the praises over there. But let me tell you the fact and truth, and believe you me, that the dining table may be having the food which is bought. Husband has not met the wife for a month. Children have picked up the food and reached to their rooms and left the dining table. The vacation that was there was only her alone in it and maybe sponsored. So when we start doing this kind of a fake comparison, socially anxiety starts prevailing. And especially, how many of you, after posting a picture, look at the notification, how many liked it? Tell me the truth. The more you see the notification, the more you see the likability, the more you start using the similar kinds of pictures and posting it. And how many of you or have thought to leave the social media? Very less hands. It is the most important component for many of us in our real lives. And so we feel that if somebody has not checked my WhatsApp picture with a double blue click and has not liked it, I'm off the shelf. I am a product. That's the way one starts assuming. And you know what is the life of a product on a shelf. So if you start treating yourself as a material to be liked by people or disliked, then you will start operating in the same manner. So what happens is that eventually one comes onto the social world, they start making sure that that availability is on the need of the people who are looking at it or who are liking it or who are not liking it. So the most important component that I've kept all my life in 3 decades is that my purpose to be on the social life is to find myself, is to reassure what I'm doing has to have a feedback, is to know that if I'm posting something, will it have a difference in the community? I'm trying to channelize a new strategy. Is it liked, or if it is not liked, what is your suggestion? If that's the way and that's the purpose with which you actually open up yourself on the social media, you're very secure, you're very safe. You know when to close, you know when to open. So you are actually knowing and making the right decision at right time. I'll give you a small example. About few years back, I posted a simple line on the LinkedIn stating, how many of you would like to have a chair in the classroom of a teacher? That was the only one single line question. And when that question appeared and was posted, it was liked and given suggestions, and people were talking about human, inhuman, teachers are very important. We know all about that. But some of them took it against themselves personally. And they started posting questions like, Should a principal have a chair? Don't you think you're not supposed to be an educationist? I don't think you should be on the social media. I think you should be leaving and going to some Facebook posting where you can have these flowery questions. This entire information was so important and impactful for me that I used it as one of the reasons to negotiate at various schools where they didn't have a chair. It helped me a lot. But when people start taking the same suggestion or same comments and various kinds of information as a personal target, it will make you sad. It will make you unhappy. You will feel that you're the product which is not liked. And you would like to move out of that particular screen or that social media. That's not what the agenda should be. Rightly told by Kavita, again, I would quote her, that the fear of missing out all the time is so prevalent in today's generation is that if a person leaves the mobile in the car and walks 2 kilometers ahead, will walk back to get the mobile. They don't want the mobile to be in anybody's hand in the family. There is a password on it. There are so many contents and information which they want to keep looking and they find reassurance and keep posting things which are of no relevance. But they want to see whether they're liked for it or not, whether they fit into the community they want to be a part of or they're dreaming of. So that fear also targets to various other harassments. And those harassments are like somebody asking you about your details and you post it to them. Somebody asking about your bank details, thinking he's from or she's from the bank, and you give it to them. Your pictures being used somewhere else without asking you. You are being asked about few things which you never thought you have ever spoken to anybody. Your personal profile is studied, stalked, and then a friendship request is sent to you. And all the information, according to your personality, is conceived by the person who's talking to you and tries to probe you into a kind of a different relationship. You expose yourself, you send pictures, you give them all what they want, and you become a prey. That's the kind of harassment even adults, even people of 50, 55, 60 are getting into trap. And that's coming under cyber law. So this entire sensation of strategizing this data online on the social media can cause you stress and anxiety in a blink. But if you know what exactly to do, how much to post, how much to not post, how many of you know that if you are writing messages on the LinkedIn to somebody and if you erase the conversation, it even gets erased from their system. How many of you knew that? So if you know such kind of things, you can protect and save yourself. You should always make sure that your videos are not switched on just the minute you start chatting to someone. You never know, there's somebody just next door trying to make a prank of you. And such pranks, competition, comparison, likes, harassment creates anxiety. And these small issues, someday somebody chatting with you with a name saying, oh, I know you, I did this, can you send me this, can you do this, can we meet here, and various other things which keep probing in, you will suddenly realize it has become a big problem. And this person is now talking with your name and reference at various other community and channels, which is a huge professional, emotional, and social stigma sometimes for people. Don't take it so big in your life. This is what I'm trying to say. You have to make sure that you complain. You have to make sure that you're calm. You have to make sure that whatever you are sending and receiving is of the ability of exposure that should be done. It should not be something, anything being sent to anyone. So when I talk about these aspects, I keep asking everybody that why do you do that? Why do you send so many information just because somebody's asking you who doesn't know you and you're happy to send it? So they say no. They say what happens is that checking becomes a habit. If I have not liked somebody's question, still I will go to that participant and I'll see what the question was. And when I have this thought, one more time, let me check that answer. One more time, let me check what is that person written. I have erased all the conversation, but let me see one more time how to connect. You start getting addicted. These are the symptoms which not allow you to get off the system. Now, if you see your entire day's time, how many times have you seen your mobile? Be very honest to yourself. How many hours can you leave it away from yourself? How many people can you tell them that I only pick the calls from 5 to 6? How many of you can do that? So all these four things which I've told you, which create, that's the highlight, liked or not liked, FOMO, and harassment, actually promotes you towards using various kinds of social media and makes you addicted to so many instances where after a point you cannot take a U-turn. And then the real battle between the mind and the heart starts. Now, what happens there is that you start feeling guilty about what you have done. Most of the cases, people think, I have done everything wrong. No, there has been a strategy plotted to make you do those things. So you have all the right to complain, to find a solution, to let the person know what they're doing wrong, and you have a right to restart. So social media can bring you stress, but it can also be resolved. Now, I'll give you a small instance. There is an instance during this lockdown when children of senior classes have made a meme page on Instagram of teachers. It has been really upsetting everyone, and there were mails and mails to me what to do. The child has put up my picture. I was teaching on the screen, associated me to strangers. I'm not liking it. That this is a humiliation. Yes, it is. It is a humiliation. But then you have to find out the person who's doing it, orient, counsel, or file a complaint. Until we don't do this, we will not be ever able to come out of this stress and anxiety. So, when I talk about anything related to stress and anxiety through the social media, I would request you all to please first find the purpose behind it and how relevant it is in your life. Secondly, my tip is that please make sure that whatever you're doing on the social media has to be restricted to a lot of extent. Do not make feel yourself that it's absolutely a freedom over here and I can do whatever I want to. No, it's a freedom, but it's just been seen by more than half of the world. So you have to be very careful of what you're writing and what you're doing. And once you do that, do it for a purpose for yourself. Don't do it for the purpose of others. This is what I have always felt, and I would like to suggest all of you during the talk.
Well, Preeti, here I have a question,
Yeah,
from an audience.
yes.
You mentioned that over 90% of the people who are hooked up on social media, they are logging in through their smartphone. So, has smartphone worsened the level of stress and anxiety? Because yes, people, whether it's required or not required, if I have posted something, I'll see, okay, how many likes have come, how many, reactions have come, especially when we have posted something on LinkedIn. And to on contrary, when we see people, other people posting at the same time and they're getting so many likes, so many comments, so many reactions, it's like, okay, have I done a same mistake? So this is something which happens. And let me give you a very practical and a live example. Yesterday you posted about this event that you're speaking, and there were entirely, the flood of reactions and everything was coming. And this morning, I believe, yes, I have shared that yes, you are going to be a speaker and this thing. So there were limited number of reactions. So I was speaking to Kavita. Kavita, मेरे post में कोई गलती है क्या? Reactions नहीं मिल रहे. So that's the way, these things actually come, no matter whether we are such a, at the head of the institution or someone who is knowing the fact, but still we look at these things. So what do you think that, smartphone is actually creating a situation where stress and anxiety is coming, or what should be done at this moment of time as an individual, how should have been pacified or reacted to this situation? Maybe I would have not spoken to anyone else apart from Kavita, but still, this is a thought which has come to my mind. So what is your advice to the people that how to curb this?
Okay. So the first most important thing is that, Ms. Sunanda, you have been doing this with a cause. Your way of promoting it is more to like creating a cause and generating awareness in the society, wherein the people who have a lot of likes and who are trying to create the similar platform for a business, they sometimes start telling the speaker that why don't you ask people to join. So when people join, obviously they like it. So I'm just giving you the difference between what you see and what actually it is being perceived as is totally two different things. You had nothing done wrong with your post at all. But the way it had to be done was not only through that post, but telling 10 more people to post it again on their site, to promote it to another level. Then you start getting these likes. Otherwise, who would know who's doing what? I am every now and then connected on the LinkedIn for a purpose. And if you check all my posts, nowhere it has anything to do with revenue, anywhere. So once a person realizes that this lady is posting something of her personal life or professional life, which will help us to generate an awareness for their own lives, that is satisfying their vibe, the number of likes and dislikes, whatever, starts raising. I don't say that every post, as I told you in my previous post, I was not like, I had 57,000 likes and dislikes on this one single line. So imagine how impactful that line was for the mind of a teaching community, or maybe their families, or maybe for a student, or maybe for a principal, whoever in that community which I have established on my LinkedIn. So the most important component here is that what you are trying to do has to be then strategized to create the kind of resonance you want. If the strategization is not happening, the resonance will be very limited and will only reach to the one who are around there or meeting around you or know about the work that is doing.
So what you're saying is, the purpose is very much required. Second is also when you are doing the posting, you have to be ensuring that it is going on other posts also, so that the things are getting more,
Yeah,
likes and.
because if I am doing a purpose of makeup today, I want to talk about how to create beautiful eyebrows if you don't even have eyebrows. So all those people who don't have eyebrows and the ones who are not able to handle it will definitely come on my post. Agree, disagree. But if I say how to place a bindi of different styles, many wouldn't come because most of us have a different perception towards bindi. But everybody knows that eyebrow is the most important component for our face, which has to be seen in a right manner. So it all depends on which, why, and which community are you trying to reach.
So why is something that is very important for all the viewers who are watching right now, because whenever you're making any post on any social media, you have to connect with the why of the other person. Very relevant point. And with this, let me ask one more question, then you can continue
Please.
with your thing. What is triggering about social media right now? What is there, if you can share some insights about it?
I think it is making our real life get converted into a dream world. I would never during my lockdown period wear a sari and say, come on, let's do this challenge.
Hmm.
I will never do that. I say, okay, fine, Kavita, today I wore a sari and now the challenge is you also wear it your best attire. I will never do that. I have to mop, I have to sweep, I have to wash the vessels, I have my office work, I have my house to take care of, I have a baby, I have very less money in my hand financially, I have to take care of all my expenditure. Why will I wear a sari? But the FOMO then comes here. If I don't wear the sari and show, the number of people that she knows will not get connected to me. And they will feel that I am not as popular as her. And maybe they may think that I don't have the best sari. So let me wear a sari and flaunt, and let me challenge and give it to somebody else. Can you see the mind game? Most of the crimes take place online, least take place face to face. Because I know how to make sure to convert you into what exactly I want you to see me as, with the kind of pictures and videos and comments and articles and posts that I want to post. There are people who do pranks on the video, if you have seen. And those pranks are, Papa, I have made a girl pregnant. Now, if that's the kind of a prank people are liking and laughing upon, can you imagine what are they talking in society? So that means that a father will get worried if you do such a thing. So in my real life, if a child wants to make the father worried, which he could have done with by asking the father twice or thrice, he will come up to such kind of pranks. And such kind of social driven pranks, jokes, TikToks, and comments also take you behind the bars. So these pranks and jokes, I have seen some of the people putting up, like for example, I'm speaking, they'll record it, and then they will sit as an analyst to what I'm talking. They'll keep pausing it, and they'll say, "Oh, did you see that she used the word important 10 times? Imagine why is she using the word 10 times the same word?" Just to make sure to make you giggle, to make tell you that see, I'm doing something very unique. They exploit the whole media instantly. So the fate of whether what we are posting, how it will be perceived, how others will take it, who will use it after that, is the cause of anxiety to various people who are already here. But I am worried about children. I'm worried about where there is no filter of age. I remember when I was teaching in one of my first schools, children of the age group 11 and 12 had written for themselves 18 years and army officer. So it was a fake world that they started with. If I write this, I'll get the Facebook ID. And from there, the entire personality changed of the youth. And most of them are trying to live in a world which is not existing.
So it's
And
a fake world.
it is a fake world if you don't know how to decide it. If you don't know how to decide what is right and what is wrong. If you think whatever is coming over here, oh my God, I'll be like taken to a different level by my children. See, look at her mother. What does she cook for her? Look at this uncle. Where is he taking the family? Look, it creates a lot of ripple, and it does. There are a lot of families who are now getting not as they're getting disassociated because they compare their lives with others on this platform. And the good thing is, you and me getting connected on this platform for awareness. You're doing for a cause. This is a beautiful thing that you're doing. You're making and generating people understand on a component which they wouldn't have got an opportunity if it was not a lockdown. It was a rat race, every day running and doing something new in life. But you made sure, hold, everybody, come together. Let's talk about something which is very vital. What you're doing and what you're not doing as a positive and as a negative. So anything that you are doing on this platform will have lots of people looking at it with a different perception. So this is one thing that I feel is not good about the social media. But the good is when there are people who we want to follow, who have done wonderful work. If we want to invite wonderful speakers to speak, if I want to actually, I'm openly talking, if I want to actually promote my business, I want to do it. And when I do it with realistic goals, by setting all the products and all the information, I call the community for orientation. I talk to them about various other kinds of things which they require and they wouldn't have got if they were not connected on the social media. And the worst thing which I would like to add here is that social media has decreased reading ability because you're so used to all the time looking at something like I'm speaking. So whoever is wanting to, who's who's happy to only hear me will get connected. But the people who love to read can get 3 times more information than what I'm speaking. So this reading habit has reduced among the generation due to the social media. They without reading, even except friends, even that half a line, patience, they don't want to read. Vocabulary has gone down, communication has gone down, patience to listen to the other person has reduced because of various issues. And this is what I feel is the pros and the cons of the social media.
Very well said, Preeti, because this is something that even we feel that habit of reading has actually lowered in people. That's the reason why, we have Siddharth with us right now, who are bringing a book reading contest, and they're doing the workshops in the schools for the book reading, so that the students can actually learn the books reading, and they should know what are the techniques of that. All of the adults, like me as a person who wants her kid to read a book, my son would not be interested. And if you can see the backyard of this, it's full of books, because yes, someone in the house is having a habit of reading the books. So that is so
Absolutely.
fond of, that is where people, all the parents want to bring their children for the book reading habit. And viewers who are watching us, we'll be sharing very shortly the details about the book reading workshop that we are doing. And we will, next time, we will not have only principal who is talking. It would be a student who will be talking with us, and they will be reviewing a book. So together, a principal and student, they will be reviewing books, so that the kind of combination that can happen, and that can, take further. So please continue with your, sharing on the particular topic that is really important at this moment of time.
Yeah. So thank you so much. I'm so glad that you're concentrating on reading because I have seen that most of the time that the parents also not reading. Let me tell you, Sunanda ji. And here, what happens is that children are only observing their parents most of the time, especially in the lockdown. So if the mother and the father, because of professional reasons, are there on the laptop or on the mobile and have no time to sit with the child, they have to sit with quality time. And quality again has to be strategized. The child has to find a reason why for anything that they do. So the most important thing the child can do over here is that they can be given a task which relates to their why again. So I'll give you a small example. We had a lot of children who were trying to do a lot of stuff on the computer. We wanted to teach this tool. Now what happened is that I wanted to teach them blog. Now, blog making was an art which a child had to come up with creativity also. Now, if I was telling the child how to create a blog and what to do in it, they were not taking so much of interest in it. They were not creating even a blog. I collaborated with a country in Virginia. I asked the same grade children that this is the grade I have on the Skype and connect with them and find friendship among yourselves and let's make a common blog. The acceleration of learning to create the blog raised x to the power n. Why? Because the children knew they have to demonstrate their learning on a blog to an absolutely different, strange community who they don't know. And when they started doing that common blog, the blog came out, I think, to be the best one to be seen. Because if a boy A from our country was creating a heading, the boy B of the other country was creating something around that heading which was very interesting to let the other boy know he also knows what is he talking about. So when children start finding a healthy competency to demonstrate, they love doing things which can help them to learn and to showcase their ability. So this way, when blog came live, then the social media instant started. People started viewing our blog. Children started commenting on the blog. So there were 2, 3 things that we found on the social media which was making our children very happy. मैम आज thumbs up दिखाया था एक बच्चे ने Today a child said wonderful. Today a child said fantastic on the blog. Today a child said wow. So I said, that's not a comment. That is just an exclamation. Ask a question for what you want them to appreciate or give you a comment to that blog. Children started thinking, okay, fine, let's think about a question that we want to ask around the content of the blog. So when children posted a picture, they did not mention anything, but they wrote, do you have the similar pattern of design of temples and worship place in your country? So the other country children started looking at the pictures that our children had posted, which were of various kinds of temples of different states of our country. They started using the same image in their memory and compared it with the patterns of the church of their country. And they started saying, no, we have abstract formations on the building. We don't have an art the way that you're talking about, because that was the country which was having that kind of a picture and a formation on their temples or whatever we were talking about. Children started fetching information, feedbacks, and also some of the feedbacks were negative. What is this picture? It is not seen clearly. Children started saying, I'm not posting. That's the time when the guidance requires to the child or to an adult to let them know, correct it then, make it more clear, place it for them. Because you're actually trying to find an information for your work. So if there is a comment or if there is a suggestion or if there is some kind of a question triggering, then give them a solution, correct it. Don't get offended. They're not your personal childhood friends. They're people who you have collaborated with and you have to exchange. So there were enormous kind of life skills that children started learning. The first one was empathy. If you do not like my temple, it's okay. If you are not able to post a picture because you have less resources in your country, it's okay. If you haven't been able to understand my language, it's okay. If my English is not understood to you the same way as it is perceived by me, it's okay. So this is a most essential life skill which you have to learn when you're on the social platform, social media. People sometimes say that if you dare write anything on my post, I will rip apart your reputation. And they take it so closely to their heart and they take it so personally that social media obviously then become a cause of stress and anxiety for the person who has spoken or written, because now they'll be waiting for a response makes you addicted, addiction brings in anxiety, anxiety will reduce only when you do things for your happiness, and your happiness would come only when you will understand this entire programming that you're trying to do over here is because you are wanting to do it for yourself. That's very important. Because if you start thinking, I'm doing it for you and you didn't like it and your response is so bad, do you know who that person is? We don't know it. So, what happens is, everybody in the audience, I'm referring to everyone, what happens is that we get so ambitious while we are doing social media conversation with the help of posts or write-ups that we forget the purpose behind it sometimes. We go such a long way battling in that conversation that we start feeling it too personal. No, you have to get detached to it. That's very important. And what I feel is, yes, sir.
Yeah, very well said. One point that is taken again, that you have to be detached with the post that you have shared or any comments or remarks that has. So, there is something which you have, as it is referred on the 21st century skill, that, when we are actually working on any particular thing, we should have detached detachment. The moment we get personalized on any things, then the complete circle of the revenge or reposting, and Ekta is very clearly mentioned, Ekta Batra from MPS, that there seems to be an unofficial competition on social media to be the funniest, wittiest, or most, which is turning moms and dads to the cause of the parent success based on other people's likes and the loved one. Very interesting fact that has been shared. Please continue on that. And we would you like me to pose a question here right now?
Yeah,
Or
you can. Yeah,
okay.
you may.
So one question that we all know, we all need dopamine as an hormone to come out. That's what actually triggers. So I would like to know from a perspective of an educator how motivation works and why it can lag, and what can we do to help students to develop it. When I'm saying we we as a magazine, since we bring the magazine, we as the career mentors, as we do the career mentoring activity, we as a people who are creating an events, you as a head of the institution, people who are watching us right now, the educators, the parents, what can they do so that they can help students? Because right now our main focus is whether it is for the teachers capacity building or for the parenting session, our key motive is that how can we bring, or we can put a good upbringing to the people. And especially everything, every one of us wants likes, and definitely people cannot get the likes until unless you are reaching to the why of the core. But for the sake of posting certain things, people start posting, and then they expect that, like, wow, happiness, everything has to become. Even we are sending a WhatsApp message, we will see blue tick has आया या नहीं आया. Blue tick आ गया, ठीक है, उसने respond क्यों नहीं किया? It happens. As a parent, as a person who is doing that, that's the reason I'm asking this question to you. What can we do, especially for the students, that they can develop their self motivation? We know it has to be reinforced at times. You have to self motivate yourself, but there are things which happen. So if you can throw some light on it.
Sure. I'll give an example, and I think it will make lots of things very clear. So this was the batch in 2012 for 12th standard I was taking, and I have been teaching computer science since 2002 in the schools. And I have seen that in those 10 years, when I reached the classroom of 12th standard, they already knew everything. Children already knew what I was going to teach them. So theory was not engaging and attracting them. And the smartest thing that I could do at that time, I'm so happy I could do, and that was I took a small brief assessment of the children of the topics that we are going to talk throughout the year. And I got to know that they all know almost everything in the new knowledge. They know all the theory part. They have already understood all the basics of programming, which I was going to teach them step by step. Now, when you already are going to teach them what they know, they are going to lose the interest. They lack the motivation of doing anything. They would not do anything further. They need challenge. The youth today needs a, a challenge, of inquisitivity to unfold information, find, research, because there is so many things around them. They would like to know or be given a task where they are able to find informations as per their perspective and showcase. Because for me as an academician, I feel there is not anything called as wrong or right when the child is exhibiting any kind of information. It may not be required in that classroom or may be required in that classroom. That can be a thought, but not whether they should know or they should not know. So I told them that I'm really in a need of you all to create a small software with all of me. So they said, ma'am, what do you want? I said, I want you to help me by helping one of my social science teacher to teach her to teach geography. So they said, what do you want us to do? I said, nobody wants to learn geography. Create something through which children can learn geography. Child understands the mind of a child. And from there, I realized they created such a beautiful, pictorially based platform. And they made sure that children, when click on any part of the map of India, the child will get to know the kind of soil, the name of the soil, the color of the soil, and what it is best to grow. that soil is best for farming. And that 4-5 information became so beautifully accepted by the children that they started loving the geography class, because the map used to be there and they used to be guess what in what state. That was the only question. Children had to, before clicking, write the answer on a paper and then click and check that what they have written for a state is the right answer, which is reflecting on the screen. So what happened here is the process of developing this program was not only limited to learn that particular software or to create it for a teacher, but then also to see the feedback, to see a suggestion, to see if it can be reformed, to see if it can be published on the website for other children also of different classes. Then slowly and slowly, parents started connecting. They started saying, why don't they have an MCQ paper online? We started creating an MCQ paper for any subject, for any teacher, like KBC, with a timer. And children started using the lab for creating and nurturing the best in them to help someone. So, one that child loves to do is when you are asking them to help. Second, they love to do when you tell them, nobody knows about it, can you do it? So, when a challenge is thrown to a child, they do it beautifully. The same lesson was taught differently. And here the thought was, let the child be the center of the teaching and let the child promote the whole class. When that propelling starts in the classroom, teacher's role is only to observe. Teacher has to just see that I am going to now observe how much one has learned and how much to support individually. And children learn better when they are using the social media connect, which I said, like through the school website also, when the parents started connecting, we started giving them stars, children started talking to those children, they feel an empowerment among themselves and they start doing things without even asking. So these are the kind of strategies that one has to use to engage the minds of today's youth. They're natives of technology. You cannot allow them that they cannot use it or they cannot go on the social media or the social media should disappear. This will never happen. But how to use can always happen, where parent and teacher and peers and everybody around us has to help each other.
Very well said, Preeti. That the strategies that you mentioned is really good. One of the feedback, in fact, not one of the feedback, one of the comments that has come on the Zoom is, please switch off the notifications. Well, Sumit ji, yes, notifications can be switched off, but still वो मतलब डॉग की हालत होती है, जैसे लैम्प पोस्ट देखते हैं पैर उठ जाता है ना, आधे आधे घंटे के बाद पता नहीं दिमाग में कौन सा केमिकल लोचा चलता है कि वी एक्चुअली स्टार्ट लुकिंग एट कि कितना हुआ, मतलब रेजिस्टेंस जो है ना maximum 30 minutes तक का हो जाता है until unless you have kept the phone aside and removed all the things. But very well said, this thing. Well, now Preeti ji, since parents and teachers are here, now I would like to ask you that how teachers can help the students to navigate the pressures of their digital lives without pulling a plug on the positives.
It's just that how you target the work that you're giving them. The planning has to be very, people say that there is a lot of work that one has to do when a task is given to them. I feel the other way around. The one who's giving you the task has to actually work a lot around what they want as an outcome. So if a teacher wants a child to have a very positive impact or positively use and have excellence in their learning abilities, she has to learn how to use, what to use, and what to tell the children to reach till and what should be the outcome. It cannot be something which she thinks I'll give it to them and they'll do it. Oh, that's going to be the most dangerous thing on the earth that you can do. Because children can go from one side to another side, they don't even know, they will start searching and they'll go to a different world altogether. So the smarter people are the ones who create the task by taking at least a week's time to make sure that the promotion of doing it with the child has to be positive. So if I see that if I tell them to search, I will let them know 4 search engines that is only to be used. So when they use those 4 search engines, they will only get the speeches of the leaders. They will only get the pictures which are non-pirated. They will only get the information which are harmless to the child. They will only traverse through that garden. But if you don't tell them and you allow them to go to any channel to search, they may reach out to a place where they were trying to find a video of a leader, but now they're finding a video of a leader which is being mocked. So that kind of a perception will get dangerous, and it can dilute the essence of your entire work and plan that you're creating. Secondly, when you ask them to write something and give it to you have to make sure that the child knows that you have a software to check whether it is copied from the internet or not. So the teacher has to be very smart to copy paste the content given by the children online and use it at a place where she can check whether it is being copied from somewhere. It is very clearly mentioned. Lots of softwares are there which can check that online. So teacher will know that if my child has once given me a content which was copied, she can always check the child by saying, I know where is this from, and if you can please change it, it is copied. Children know she knows what she's doing with us. So they get an alarm in the subconscious mind. ऐसे ही कुछ करके नहीं जा सकते क्लास में. Ma'am बहुत smart है. Ma'am has all the information for which she's asking us to move. And then when the child starts doing a teamwork, example, you can't have an individual work for every child sometimes on a larger topic. So you can have child do teamwork. You can ask the children to please explain their work on the screen by demonstration. So what happens is this entire platform of navigating the whole class through any kind of software, maybe Hangout, maybe Zoom, maybe MT, when the child is speaking about their experience, a lot of information is shared that it is done genuinely by the child or it is done by only one person in the team. So children then start using the entire competency of doing a task with a sense that I will be checked, I will be asked, I will be asked to demonstrate how I did it. So for example, if I asked Sunanda to do my part, again before coming on the screen in front of the teacher, I'll ask Sunanda half an hour before, Kiya kaise tha, can you please tell me? So if Sunanda navigates and tells me aise aise kiya tha, purpose of the teacher is done. She wanted to teach the child somehow to do that task through the teamwork, but because she was so vigilant and her guidelines and her assessment pattern was so strong and friendly that the child before coming on this platform learned it. So the teacher has to be very clear about when they are asking the child to do anything, the social media is being used with a positive thought to the child. So what happens is, we have also told in our school that if we are posting a picture, please send a consent form to the parents. Ask them if we can. This time when our toppers topped, we asked the teachers to ask the parents, can we publish the pictures? We make sure that the ethical and ethics of social media is also learned by children. So when the child come to know, ma'am, picture hi to hai, post kar dijiye, it's okay. But they realize she's asking me whether I should or not. So one, they feel important. Second, they feel maybe it is important because maybe my photo can be used anywhere else also. So there are a lot of things children have to be told during a task to keep in mind when they're using the social network. Now, there are cases when children start downloading a lot of software to use for their work of research and action research. What happens here is that you have to tell as an educationist and as a teacher that there is a code which is there when you download. If you're not getting that submitting code or that robot question, that means that software may have a virus. and that virus can disturb your system, which might be in today's date being used by multiple members in the family. The entire data of what you are uploading on the Google Drive is also on the cloud. So whatever you're trying to share will also be shared by many more people. So these are the kind of things that we have to let the children know when they are on the social medium and they are socially interacting, that how if how that impact or repercussion can come to you if you're using it without using your mind how much to do.
Really amazing, Preeti ji, because this is a very great insights that you have given. I've noted down in all the 6 points. First of all, give the URL to navigate so that they know that these are the 4 5 platforms where they have to use. And teachers should have a software to check the plagiarism where all the content has been cooked. And if she sees that it is 100% plagiarism, one of the rule of the content writing is, even when we are publishing the magazine, they're saying, okay, up to 70% plagiarism is okay, but 30% has to be the real content, because everyone cannot churn the own content for that. Now,
Yeah,
teamwork to explain their work, that is important because one person cannot do. And teacher has to be clear that social media has to be used in a positive manner. And before posting any picture or a work or a name of the person, yes, ethical norms have to be followed. And when they're downloading a software, a submitting code has to be there so that nothing else is actually ruined. If you remember last time when I was creating the post, and I've asked, if I'm posting, can I tag you? This is something
yes,
that I've actually
yes,
learned.
absolutely.
This is something I've learned, that yes, before tagging, there is a rule of tagging. You cannot tag everyone and anyone just because you know people. You don't know if people are not reacting. That is one way that they are not liking it. If you have
Absolutely,
tagged somebody,
absolutely true.
that is something which is very important. Very well said. Now, the time is clicking, and I'm sure Kavita would be, coming back to me stating that, Sunanda, you have to keep a watch on the time. The
I'll
last
just I'll
question is,
just add I'll just add a last line over here, if you
yeah,
don't mind. I, I
yeah,
I missed out on that. Children are also supposed to be educated of stop bullying on the work of other children, or try to bully them on any such situation about which the other child wants to hide during the social media conversation. So children sometimes are not able to follow the line to which they have to communicate. Now, what happens there is that once a child is teasing the other child on the work that they have done, the other child starts feeling humiliated, stressed. Sometimes they also stop doing the work and they lose the interest of doing it, or they just get disconnected. So, this may harm the other child. So, the teachers also have to educate their children. Do not make fun of anybody on the social media. What you don't like, do not comment. If you like, describe the comment, let the person know what are they specifically doing very good on the social network, but not to create a destructive environment on the social media to engage the attention of people, because there are two kinds of attention, good and bad, and both the attentions will bring a lot of people to follow you, but the good attentions will be like taking you for a longer way, and the bad attention which will be coming from the people who like the disruptions that you're creating will not stay for very long. So this is something, or may put you into trouble. So this is something that I wanted to say in the end. I'm sorry, you were saying
oh,
something as a last question.
yeah. So one last question is, we already spoke about the strategies. We already spoke about, that how can it can be a good stress, it can be a bad stress. Now, the last question is that, does the anxiety drive excessive usage? Because sometimes when we are upset, we are clueless, we just browse through the thing, and it happens with adults also. Leave apart the children, we are upset with anything that Corona is hitting our business, we are not getting new enrollments, nothing is happening. So, we are browsing enough. So, what is your, what can we do at the domestic front, as parents from the home front, and what can be the teachers can do at their school level? Because everything is now going online. You don't have an option कि भाई क्लासरूम से बाहर बच्चे को बुलाया, स्टाफ रूम में बुलाया और बात किया. There is no option like this. So what teachers can do at this moment of time, and what parents can do, so that excessive uses or excessive browsing doesn't happen when the anxiety is there.
Totally agree. I would like to let you know here that there has to be a strategy played at home, and the strategy should be that everything should have a time duration allotted to it. So, for example, wherever there is a passive interaction on the social media, should be limited. If you're watching a TV, if you're watching something and you're browsing on the social media, it takes away all your fruitful time, and it allows you to get engaged into a process where in the end you will only see doing nothing. So that particular passive looking at any device in the house should be controlled by the parents by switching off the internet and by putting a password on the gazette from where the net is being distributed to everyone. Now, most important is that that password should be activated only when it is scheduled in your timetable. The the new norm of I am a very free parent and I allow all the freedom to my child will create a nuisance for the child in his future. They will not know what is not to use and what is to use. The addiction will go to an extent that child will start throwing things, creating tantrums if you're not giving them that gazette. Children slam the door if you pull away the gazette from them. They stop eating when you take away the gazette from them. They start throwing things on the floor when you don't give them the gazette. They stop participating in any work in the house if you don't give them the gazette. They blackmail. They also say, if you don't do this with me today, then you give me back what I had given you then. These are the kind of statements that children actually converse only for the addiction of this gazette. So I would like the parents, teachers, everybody to draw a very strong line of when saying a no, it's a no. It should never convert after any such conflict of argument or cry or disturbance to give the child what they want, either in the classroom or in the house. The minute you do this, children are very smart. They will say, बस इस औरत को इसी तरह से पटा सकते हैं. आज मैंने दूध का ग्लास नीचे फेंक दिया, she had to give me back the mobile. आज इन्होंने मेरे को मेरे चिल्लाने पे गेस्ट के सामने रेपुटेशन खराब हो जाएगी इनकी, फिर उन्होंने मुझे मोबाइल दे दिया. इनको ये जता के लेने में बहुत मजा आता है जब उनको लगता है अब तो ये उलझ गई है. She will not be able to now resist and has to give me. आप चाहे उसको गुस्से में दे दो, उसको पटक के दे दो, उसको उसका सामान मिल गया, उसका माल उसके हाथ में आ गया है. So the child knows how to play with the mind. Now, the only patience that the parent and the teacher has to have is not to give, not to give. Strategize a time, and when the time starts, you can take it. When this time stops, come and give it to me. Otherwise, I'll put the password. There are conditionings that have to create it around the child. That's the only way out that I see today during this lockdown period, because even adults I see, they had a fight, the vessels couldn't be washed or something, they go on the Facebook and they start watching the video of a dog, and that dog is jumping, happing, pulling, doing things. Passive mind is going towards that beautiful time with the dog, and they are forgetting about the task which is left in the house. So to take an excuse of going towards the social media by leaving all the task is not what the human mind is prepared for. We have to take care of everything in a scheduled time. We can't run away from it just because we have a gazette, we have an internet connection and a freedom to the child to do. They have a freedom and they also have a right, but then we also have a responsibility. Everybody has to just understand this: password, time schedule, take it back, give it to them on a time only when required. And even if you want, when the child is at tender age, take away all the gadgets forever. Give them when it is required at an age when it's important. This is what I have to let everybody know.
Thank you so much, Priti ji. Yes, little tougher to handle their tantrums, but this is a wonderful way to control the child. In fact, my child is class 12 pass now. It's the time when the college admissions have to take place, and I believe being little strict, and this is a teenage wherein the person is at 17, you cannot say anything, and tantrums will are little more higher as an adult. Anyways, let me ask Kavita to take the questions that we have from the Zoom chat as well as from the Facebook and other places, and take the things from here. Kavita. सुमन जी, आपका हिंदी मुझे बहुत ही अच्छा लगा, बहुत ही सुंदर प्रस्तुत. Honestly, I really liked the way she has sent a message on Hindi. Yeah, Kavita,
Thank
please
you,
take
Suman.
over.
Thanks, Sunanda, and thank you, Priti ji. It is wonderful to listen you. We have a question from Ekta Batra, and she's asking, please enlighten us by sharing your views on how we can handle cyberbullying, because it's a big cause of stress and anxiety among the youth, and at times if not handled properly, it can lead to suicide. We see so many cases of suicide.
Yes, yes, yes. So I would like to let Ekta ji know that cyberbullying is not something that I can finish in 1 minute answer, but cyberbullying is something that will allow you not to engage yourself to anything, but only bring stress. So if you want to get away with this, complain is very important. Cyber crime cell is always vigilant with any complaint that you address to them. They will make sure to find from where is this happening. They'll find the source. They will make sure that the person stops it.
Okay, because there was a network issue, so now you can start continuing again.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So basically, what happens is in cyberbullying, it's a huge long session, and our staff members have been through cyberbullying ways how to get away with it. But the only thing is that it needs a lot of information where you need to complain. Any bullying can be stopped. Any bullying can be blocked. Any bullying can be resolved. But the only thing is that you have to have the courage to address it to the right people. If you go and tell it to your friends, community, they will talk about it, but there will be no solution. But there are links and there are places where you can write the whole crime. You can write your email address. You can call up those people. You can give the print screenshots, and you can let the person check who has done what. Until you don't do this, cyberbullying is not only bullying but cybercrime cannot be reduced. One is this. Second is that the people who will inquire about it will also ask about your details. Please give it to them. There are various places where you have to give written application. You have to give the evidence of the crime which has taken place, even on your mobiles, even on your OTPs, even on the bank transaction, even anywhere on the website. Somebody playing with your content, somebody doing things with your photograph, somebody writing you things, all come under various kinds of acts and laws, and each one of them has a resolving situation. Please please, I would like to let all the audience who's listening to me that the person who victimizes you will always make you feel at the fault. So one thing that you have to come out is the challenge of accepting that if I have given the person the OTP number, or if I have been coming under a crime because of some reason of my photograph, of my content or anything, you should be confronting it and letting the person, the people who are complaining, that this is what the issue has happened. I did exchange, I did inform, but now it is troubling me, and this is what is the situation. Because they create strategization is that cybercrime sometimes also tells you that if you do this, if you tell it to anybody, we will destroy your reputation, we will destroy your whatever you have socially shared with them. Do not be scared, do not be scared at all, because they are actually very weak people who do this, and weak people try to find weaker. So please remember not to become weaker. but complain, but to talk about it, write a mail, go to the police station, do everything so that you get a solution.
Very beautifully put in a very limited words that cyberbullying or cybercrime, as an educationist, it's a big thing that is there. But in case something like this comes across to you, you can always approach your school authority. They will be having all the information about where to approach, what to approach. But definitely a lighter cyberbullying, you have to tell the child firstly to ignore it, because you should not, they are the people those who want you to start the conversation. A normal cyberbullying guy, he will just ignite you. It's like a spark they want to put to, it should catch a fire. So don't get into that trap. And in case something is happening, then save each and everything, so that it can help you in getting the justice and getting the, even helping in solving the cyber crime. So that is the thing on cyber bullying and cyber crimes. I hope it will help you to understand it and guide the student in case any issue of this kind comes to you. And I'm definitely sure all the schools authorities have all these guidelines, even if the teachers are maybe not aware, but authorities will be having, and they will, help you to take it to a right person, to a right authority. uh, with that, Sunanda, you want to add any question?
No, Kavita, we are already, we picked up all the questions, whichever has come on Zoom as well as on the offline thing. I think we should, it's the time to conclude. And Preeti ji, before Kavita concludes, I would like to invite you for tomorrow as well. Tomorrow is the last day of this Brand Magnifier series, and all the speakers would be here who have spoken from the day one. And I will be sharing a small, the theme is how much is too much. We would like to have excerpts from all of you on the live show, so that we can actually create a content that how much is too much on social media. So everyone
Sure,
has
ma'am.
been there. So tomorrow same time I'll be sharing the links and everything to all the speakers. So Kavita, over to you, please.
Thank you, Sunanda. So as we come to the end of this session, uh, I would like to extend a word of thanks officially. And I felt it was a very insightful and knowledgeable session. I'm sure all the participants and the people who are listening to us will definitely agree that Dr. Priti Ojha has given really information and right ideas how to take the things in a perspective, not to take it in a personal way, and detach ourselves from the post and be mindful of the purpose we are on the social media. The purpose will define how we are optimizing social media. With that, I would like to leave you with certain questions that, as an individual, as a teacher, as an educator, if you try to answer this question, you'll get to know how to manage the stress that has been created by social media. So firstly is, take a self assessment. How is being on social media making you feel? And being online, how do you feel? And when you go offline, how do you feel? So once you do that self assessment, it gives you what is stressing you. Is it being on social media stressing you, or something offline in your life that is going, that is stressing you? And second, which comes to, is strengthening your personal relations. Or even if you're working and it's a professional thing or something, we all need support pillars in our life. It can be family, it can be teacher, it can be your friend. So strengthen your real relation rather than just thousands of friends on social media, or hundreds of friends, those who like your comments and post you. So strengthen your personal relations. uh, and then, as Priti ji has mentioned, how important social media is for you. What is the reason you are there? Once you understand that, it will help you to understand where do you stand, and then how social media is making you feel once you have put some number of hours or some I would say half an hour even on social media. How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel less, or does it make you elevates you, motivates you? That you have to see about it. And then if you try to balance this, what purpose I am on social media and why I'm using it, is it solving my purpose, and you strike a balance between your real life and your actual social media presence, I'm sure that balance will help you to be excited about it and use it to the benefit of your purpose you are there on the social media. And with that, what Priti ji has started, in the beginning of this session about the stress and anxiety that has been created through social media, there is a famous quote which is on internet. I picked it from internet, and it resonates with what you have said. It's like, the reason why we struggle with insecurity is because we compare our behind the scene with everyone else highlight reel. So I think that is the core reason for stress and anxiety. Nobody wants to see what is at the back. They only wants to see what has been portrayed. It is a highlight reel. It's a picture that is shown to you. So don't get into that trap, and definitely is going to make your experience more relaxing, peaceful, and it will help you reach your purpose for using the social media. With that, I would like to conclude the session, and thank you for being with us, and thank you, PTG. Again, we are very grateful and really appreciate you being here with us and sharing such an insight with each and every one of us. We learned a lot. And to all the participants who are actively participating, and and when I see the comments, and when I see the interaction that is happening with the session, it shows how engaged our sessions are, how we are able to motivate. It motivates us also, and it motivates us to do more sessions like this, that we are able to create some impact that we want to create. So thank you, Priti ji. Thank you everyone for being with us. And stay healthy, stay safe. As Corona is there, सावधानी में ही समझदारी है. तो please आप सावधानी बरतें और समझदार बनिए. I think it goes for us, Priti ji. If I say it goes for our today's thing also.
Absolutely, बिल्कुल. हेलमेट पहन के गाड़ी चलाइए.
Thank you so much, Kavita, for wrapping up very beautifully the complete thing. Well, the session cannot end without sharing the winner of day 3 feedback. Preeti and other people who have joined us today, we have a feedback on per day session. We would like to know what are the learnings, what is the testimonial. This is basically to understand that how attentive the viewers were while watching the thing. And the best part is people who actually forget or sometimes they miss out the thing. They ask for, "Acha, आप YouTube का link देना, आज का session आपका देखना जरूरी है," because the kind of magnetic thing that happens. So we don't mind if we have 25 people, 30 people who are joining us, because people who are joining us are actively joining. This is what we are looking for, instead of going for a huge number where people are not attentive. So coming back to the winners, we have a winner who is very active today on asking the question. None other than Ekta Batra, who has mentioned that social from the learning from yesterday's session was, social comparison makes it hard to be content. Comparison can be really thief of joy. Detoxing it from the social media is a good way of focusing on what's important in your life without comparing yourself to the others. Second learning that we had is, reduce your fear of missing out and be realistic to understand your relationship with your devices. So very well said, Ekta ji. So you received the best feedback, certificate. Obviously, what we are going to do is, all the people who have, bagged the best feedback certificate, everyone will be given the certificate tomorrow. except that of the day 5 session. Day 5, we will be announcing it next day, because obviously the feedbacks have to come. Please do subscribe to our Career Beacon channel, which is there on YouTube. And if any one of you would like to contribute any article for the Career Beacon magazine, please do so. Kavita, do you have anything that you want to show to the people? We are, as we have said, that
Yes, I have. A second.
next is more to do with that how you have, has COVID impacted your personal growth. So anyone who has learned anything during the COVID can apply for it. It's an impact award, and last date to apply is 31st of that. We will be creating the videos. We'll ask you to create a 2 to 3 minutes videos. Few of them have already shared the videos, but we want more and more people to be inspired. So the video will be posted with an intro and outro on our YouTube. Ensure that people are inspired by your learnings, or however the personal growth you have taken. Even if you have attended a session, you started your cookery channel, you have started your own makeup. कुछ लोगों ने अपना ब्यूटी मेकअप खुद ही करना शुरू किया क्योंकि ये सारी प्रॉब्लम्स चल रही हैं कोविड के दौरान, जीरो टच का है, या आपने कुछ भी नया किया wherein you have enriched yourself with a personal growth. Please share your story with the world. So with this, we sign off for today and we come tomorrow.
Sunanda, I like to add that
Yeah.
personal growth also means like how digitally, especially for teachers and educators, how digitally they have, come up to date with the technology, how to use it. Otherwise, earlier they were just blackboard and chalk. It was used, or a whiteboard and pen. So now moving to a digital platform, how it has grown us, personally. It is a part of personal growth. As an individual, we have grown a lot during this COVID, I believe, because earlier we had no time for learning all these things, but we have during the COVID has given the opportunity to learn and grow as an individual. So any learning that you have done, any way you feel that you are a better version of yourself, I would say post before BC, before BC, before Corona, before COVID. So
And after Corona, ACDBC. So that's really good term. So FOMO के बाद हमने AC और अभी सुना before Corona, after Corona. So please do participate in this so that you get an award in this. And with this, we sign off for today, and we'll see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock with all the speakers who have spoken in past, as well as tomorrow's speaker is going to be not from India. He would be joining us from Qatar. So Mr. A.K. Sharma would be joining, and he will be talking about a different topic altogether. So see you, Priti ji, tomorrow along with other speakers and all the viewers who have been glued up with us till now. I know we have overshooted a bit of time, but yes, it's the interest of everyone that has glued us. So stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow again. And do not forget to share your feedback, as the feedback can get you an award as well as you get the participation certificate. The link has been shared with you. Thank you so much.
thank you, sir.